Hi, Oliver here. I hope you're well and are enjoying a good week. In this video, I thought it'd be interesting to look ahead to 2021 and beyond, as hopefully, fingers crossed, that COVID starts to get smaller and smaller in the rearview mirror. So I just wanted to take some time to kind of think ahead and also reflect how the pandemic has shaken a few things up and what the key opportunities are going to be going forward. So the number one opportunity, as you can imagine, is to get your work back out into the physical world again, whether it's through galleries, art fairs, open studios, alternative spaces. Who can say exactly what the time frame for that's going to be, but it's looking more and more likely that next year and beyond, things are slowly going to start moving back into that direction again. And what really interested me is in point two, we're going to look more about the online implications. And if we look at the second part of this year's Hiscox online art trade report, which we'll, like I say, go into in a bit more detail at the moment, it says that the pandemic may have boosted confidence and interest in art for some audiences, but many art lovers will return to exhibitions as soon as the art world is able to enjoy some form of normality. Art shows are still important in cultivating a younger generation of art lovers. The vast majority, 86%, of under 35s bought art in a physical environment before buying online this year, up from 77% in 2019. Now, to me, that's quite amazing. You know, in a year that has been so affected by the pandemic, particularly when it comes to, putting your work out into the physical world, that 86% of under 35s bought art in a physical environment before buying online. So that really, to me, emphasizes how important showing your work out in the real world, the physical world, is. So back to the here and now, what can you best do to prepare yourself for those opportunities? In a nutshell, it's exactly that: prepare. Do your research, have a think about, where your target collector is going to go in 2021 and beyond. Which galleries are they going to go to? Which art fairs are they going to go to? Which other kind of physical spaces are they going to hang out in? Which cities? Which countries? Be prepared, do your research, start doing the networking and the planning that's required for that now, whilst we're still kind of in this little in-betweeny space. So that's big opportunity number one, is get your work back into the physical world. It's what a lot of us have been waiting for all this time, and even this online report acknowledges how important the physical world still is. Now, the second big opportunity for 2021 and beyond is to capitalize on the growing online demand. So, as you would expect, and as we covered in a previous video, the pandemic has resulted in quite a surge of online activity, which could have quite a lasting impact going forward by the looks of it. So what I'd like to do now is just read a few key paragraphs from this second part of the 2020 Hiscox online art trade report, because I think you'll find it quite interesting. So it starts off by saying, I wrote in the foreword to the last edition of this report that we waited with bated breath to see what happens next. The answer is pretty clear. COVID-19 has turbocharged the online art market. Its transformation has been quicker and more successful than anyone would have imagined. Faced with no other option, the market has embraced change, illustrating the creativity and guile that courses through the market's veins. Goes on to say, I have no doubt that there will be much pent-up demand to physically see art, as there is to eat out, go to concerts, see friends and all the rest. But I believe this report shows that we have reached a watershed moment in the development of the online market. What used to be a tentative foot in the door is now a large presence in the room. And then it goes on to speak specifically about what the lasting impact of the online demand and the online market might be. The report goes on to say, at this stage, nothing is certain. When questioned about the longevity of these changes, 65% of online sales platforms said they expected the pandemic to have a permanent and transformative impact on the sector. Then it goes on to say nearly half, 48% of the art buyers we surveyed, however, said they preferred going to galleries and auctions, up from 36% in 2019. The number who said they preferred the online experience fell to 15%, suggesting signs of online fatigue, as well as a lasting return to the physical art world. The impact of COVID-19 has clearly impacted the behaviours, expectations and motivations of many art buyers. And this next part for me is the really, really crucial conclusion to all of this, which is when it goes on to say that neither an exclusively online or entirely bricks and mortar approach will sufficiently cater for the needs of this evolving market. More likely, the online art market will continue to depend on the physical infrastructure in creating trust and encouraging online sales. The art world shifts towards a clicks and bricks model, nice catchphrase, where online sales complement those made in galleries, which was born out of necessity during COVID-19, is likely to continue after the pandemic subsides. So essentially what the report is saying is that even though there's a bit of online fatigue because people are so, much wanting to get back out into the physical world and see art in the flesh again, what the report also shows is that this pandemic has really elevated the level of trust in a lot of collectors to make purchases online. So for your practice going forward, particularly when it comes to engaging either your existing collectors who are already, or people who are already familiar with your work, it's more likely now than it was before the pandemic that they would actually go through and make an online purchase, assuming your online presence ticks all the boxes. So in order to capitalize on this, and the same goes for new collectors as well, when you've engaged new collectors by showing your work in the physical world or on the online world, the online presence is there to kind of capitalize on that interest, and it gives another option for people to directly purchase your work. So ensure that your online presence ticks all the boxes for your specific practice and it does what it needs to do. If you're not quite there yet, I've made a separate video, which I think was the video before this, about developing your online presence. I also really urge you all to download and read the 2 parts of this 2020 Hiscox Online Art Trade Report, as there's so many really useful insights in there that are obviously bang up to date and really of the moment. For example, it gives you insights into the motivations for collectors making purchases, how much collectors are spending online across all different medium, the importance of offering safe, secure, cost-effective shipping, the significance of, in some cases, offering payment plans, and so on and so on. There's so many specific insights that you can take forward into your online presence to really capitalize on that increased level of trust that people have developed during this COVID era. So that's the second thing, capitalize on the online demand, and specifically the trust, new level of trust that collectors have found in actually purchasing artworks online. And the third and final thing I'd like to discuss as an opportunity going forward is, it comes from a specific finding from the Online Art Trade Report, which shows the significance of Instagram, which is perhaps no surprise, but maybe these figures that I'm about to reel off are a bit of a surprise. Specifically in the report, it shows that an incredible 68% of all surveyed art buyers in that report say that Instagram is their preferred social media platform for art-related purposes. And an incredible 92% of new art buyers say that they've used it at some point. So to me, that's kind of amazing when you think how many social media platforms there are out there, when you think of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and lots of kind of smaller platforms out there as well, that 68% of all buyers say that Instagram is their number one social media platform for artistic activity. So that's opportunity number 3. Make sure, as long as it's right for your specific practice, that you're making the most out of Instagram. And to me, the art of getting Instagram or maximizing your opportunity on Instagram is to find the right balance that's specific to your practice between being commercially savvy without being overly commercial or overly hard salesy. Or another way to look at it is to use it as look at it as a sort of a curation tool to really put your best foot forward and create a stunning first impression for new people without also being too passive or too subtle. You've got to find the right combination there. And if you're a little unsure of, what the right balance is for you and your practice, I think the best place to start is always to look at what the galleries and artists that you aspire to are doing. How are they using Instagram? So what are they posting? What are they saying in each post? Do they tag other accounts? What are they doing with hashtags? How do they curate their profile? How do they curate the posts? What's the quality and the perspectives of the photographs of the artwork? What's on their stories? Do they have any kind of swipe up activity going on? Have they done any flash sales in the past? So think about some artists and galleries and other personalities in the art world and beyond that you aspire to, and kind of, don't copy what they're doing, but be informed by what they're doing to strike the right balance for their specific practice and incorporate some of those ideas into your own practice. Like I say, it is very specific to each individual art practice. I think the main variable is thinking about how much of your practice is there as a way of generating income, and therefore how kind of salesy in a kind of conscious or more direct way do you need to be. But for most practices, I would suggest keeping your profile and your posts really super curated, because for a lot of people now, Instagram is actually your first impression. I've seen people at galleries, when I mention an artist name, before they Google the artist name to go on their website, a lot of people go straight to Instagram, or they ask, are they Instagram? And that's their first port of call. So as a rough rule of thumb, I'd say make sure your profile and the images that you're posting on your profile are really well thought through, really well curated to really get that emotional hook, particularly of new buyers. And then what you can also do on Instagram is use these other variables to be more kind of salesy if you need to be. So whether that's using stories, whether it's using swipe ups, whether it's using direct messages and networking. After all, social media platform should be at least 50% networking, not all just about media and posting stuff. So use those other variables: stories, swipe ups, direct messages, networking, commenting, interacting with other people to encourage people towards, whether it's going to your website or visiting your shop or subscribing to your mailing list or making a purchase if they've shown interest already in a specific piece. Whatever your primary business goal is for Instagram, use some of those other variables to kind of push things along in that way. So there we go. That's what I think going forward into next year and beyond is going to be the primary 3 opportunities: getting your work back out into the physical world, optimizing your online presence, and within that making the most of Instagram if it's right for your practice. Talking of opportunities, on a personal note, my other opportunity for 2021 will probably be to get a haircut at some point. It's quite amusing looking at the insights section of the Artist Wingman website, seeing all these video thumbnails. At the start of the year I had what's normal for my hair, and it's gradually become more kind of mop stroke bob like, but I am quite enjoying growing it out, so maybe I'll push it a bit further, so watch this space. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got something useful from it. As ever, there's more insight and information available at theartistwingman.com. And you can also use that website to book a free consultation with me to discuss anything relating to your artistic practice, including your plans for 2021 and beyond. So thanks again, best wishes, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.